Let my dad think I vanished during lockdown after my pregnant stepmother's hatred pushed me to sneak out. This happened in 2020 but it recently got brought up so I thought I'd ask. So I, 17F, used to have a great relationship with my stepmother. I genuinely saw her as a mother figure in my life and I was so excited when she found she was pregnant, but everything changed in 2020 when I had to stay prematurely with my dad during the lockdowns because my mom is a surgeon. At first everything was normal until my stepmother Tammy was about 4 months pregnant. She started snapping at me for no reason and things that she didn't care about before now bothered her. Now I wasn't a messy or a loud person. I did every I was asked and respected the rules without any back talk. But no matter what I did she got angry. It came to a point she couldn't stand being in the same room as me. I remember I ended staying in my room most of the time. I only left to do chores or get something from the kitchen. Even at that she got mad. Like one day she came into my room angry and started yelling that my room was so smelly it was making her sick. I pointed out that the only mess in the room was a half bag of chips which caused her to burst out crying. As always Dad babied her then made excuses saying she's struggling over lockdown, pregnancy and not being able to see her family. My mental health was extremely bad. I felt like I was a piece of trash that at any day my dad was gonna throw away and I was always scared my mom would get sick. It went so bad my hair started falling out. The breaking point came when I was at the kitchen table. I was reading a story on my phone waiting for my cereal to go soggy to eat it when Tammy came and huffed them started cleaning loudly complaining about a mess. The kitchen was spotless. Then she took my bowl and threw it in the bin, literally even the bowl, so I just flipped and started yelling at her what was her problem with me and called her an abusive fucking bitch. Among other things my dad came running and got between us. She demanded that I leave the house, that I was never allowed near her kid. Dad walked me to my room then said something that ruined our relationship forever. He told me that I must doing something to Tammy because no hates a kid for no reason and if I kept stressing her I'd have to move out. I then made a social media post asking someone for a place to stay, explained the situation in detail, packed a bag then climbed out my bedroom window bungalow. After about 30 minutes my phone started blowing up but I just turned it off and went to a friend's house. I texted my mom off my friend's phone to let her know everything. She didn't call for 7 hours because she was in surgery. She said my aunt would pick me up the next day. My mom told my father I was okay and that I'd be staying with my aunt for 2 weeks till she could come home. Apparently Dad and Tammy had to go door to door to my family/friends' houses looking for me. After I made the post, let's say they got a lot of shit. My grandparents still don't talk to him to this day. My aunt packed up my room because I refused to go back into that house. I've not spoken to my father in years or met my half-brother. Tammy and Dad still try to fix our relationship. Apparently sometimes pregnant women get a hatred against people or pets for no reason. I'm turning 18 in 3 weeks and a cousin's girlfriend asked me about inviting my dad, so I told her the story. She told me while what they did was wrong, what I did was an asshole thing too, because I made them worry/stress and go to multiple people's houses during a pandemic that put a pregnant woman having a mental health issue at risk by whole stunt. So Ada for letting my dad think I was missing. Update 1. Hi guys, I honestly thought I'd never give an update, but here I'm gonna call my cousin's girlfriend Sarah and my cousin Paul. So I mentioned in a comment I uninvited Sarah from the party. Yesterday Paul came over to tea. He told me Sarah had issues in the past with her younger siblings. It was apparently really bad, like her siblings lived with their mom full time and she lived with her dad. Long story short, Sarah was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and collage and went to therapy. He said even though she's apologized her siblings still won't have anything to do with her, which breaks her heart. Paul said Sarah told him that when I told her what happened it triggered her because it reminded her of her situation with her siblings. I didn't mention in the other post because it was really irrelevant to what I was asking, but Sarah texted me about letting go of the hate, links to sites about family members with mental health issues, numbers of family therapists, even subreddits on here. He told me Sarah wanted to meet up to clear the air and apologize in person. I said okay. Sarah texted about half an hour later about collecting me because she wanted to drive to a new restaurant that newly opened in the next town over as her pre-birthday treat to me. We know what she was planning, but Tammy ruined it for her by calling my mom to tell her Sarah's plans to help us make up. I wrote my dad a letter 2 days ago as a lot of you suggested. I put everything in there and told him how it affects me to this day. I told him I wanted a relationship with my brother but I wasn't sure I'll ever want one with him. I told him to leave me alone because his actions are only pushing me away even more, and if I ever decide I want to talk to him it will be on my terms with my mom present. The letter ended up being 5 pages and you guys were right, it did make me feel better. My mom dropped it off that day and Dad asked to meet her a day later. They talked about me meeting my brother and my dad said he wants to buy me a car, no strings attached. They, Tammy and Dad, also asked would it be okay to give me money to get myself something for my birthday. You guys are gonna hate me for this but I'm taking the car and $500 if he wants to give me more he can, because collage supplies and moving into a dorm is expensive. Back to Sarah, she's basically contacted Tammy via Facebook. Tammy sent my mom the screenshots, telling her everything I said then asking Tammy her side because Sarah didn't believe me. To Tammy's credit, she told the truth and took full accountability. It was Sarah who kept trying to make out Tammy was the victim. Sarah told Tammy about her own past and said she'd try to mend our relationship. Tammy told her that didn't want her to. The last message was Sarah telling Tammy the location and time we'd be at the restaurant, even said she'd drive me so I couldn't leave even though I just asked a waitress for help or call my mom. My mom posted the screenshots into the group chat and called Sarah a bunch of names, told her if she ever came near me again she'd regret it. I blocked Sarah and left the group chat, so I don't know what happened afterwards, but Paul came over with my aunt and swore he knew nothing about it. To be honest, I don't know if I believe him because he was trying to defend Sarah again, which got him a verbal lashing from my aunt and mom. That's it really. I'm gonna update in a few months to let you guys know how everything went with my brother. I feel like I owe everyone that after so many people helped me take that step, because honestly words can't describe how happy it's made me. Literally the best birthday present I could have gotten. Thank you so much for the amazing advice and people sharing their own experiences, even the women who suffered mental illness. Tammy did. It helped me understand it a bit more, but I still can't forgive her. I don't think we can ever rebuild our relationship, especially to what it was. Oop. I've not spoken to him since, and my mom said don't worry about adult business, just focus on the rest of my summer and my upcoming party. But the way he was talking about her, if I had to guess, he is oop. From what I've been told by Paul and the stuff I saw on the screen shots, she was horrible to her siblings. I dare say abusive. Even in the watered down version, she said in one episode she cut up her sister's clothes and ruined all her makeup by throwing them against her sister's bedroom walls, but then also said she replaced everything afterwards and apologized, so she doesn't understand why the sister still holds it against her. There's a lot more she said in the messages to Tammy. Your father made a mistake. A bad mistake. Tammy was unwell and in crisis. It's up to you to move forward. You can have zero relationship with your father or work on repairing. And repairing doesn't mean they have to dance to your tune. Taking the car and money without making an effort to connect is greedy. You are almost 18. It's time to think about who it is you want to be. Oop, I didn't ask for the car or the money, he gave it, no strings attached. If he said I'd have to talk to him, I wouldn't accept it. He doesn't have to legally give me another penny in 3 more weeks, but if he chooses to, that on him.